Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Board of Supervisors for Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. Today is March 28th. It is 10:30 a.m. Welcome. Good morning. We're going to start with our invocation from Chaplain Spence. Is Chaplain Spence here? Good morning, sir.
I always want to thank the board and Stephanie for allowing me, and Chief Ferraris for allowing me this opportunity to be here. It is a tremendous blessing for me to be able to do this. One of the things I wanted to talk about briefly this morning is about King David. He was probably the most famous king of Israel in the Bible, and he was anointed by God by the prophet Samuel to be king of Israel at the age of 15. But he didn't ascend to the throne until he was 30 years old. The next 15 years of his life, he had various trials and tribulations that he had to deal with before he was able to become king. He spent 10 years of his life with his army running from the king of Israel that was trying to kill him, because the king at the time, Saul, did not want David to be the king of Israel. So when God anointed David to be king, he didn't give him a crown. He didn't give him a throne. He gave him Goliath, and he gave him a situation of circumstances that shaped and molded his character to become, at that time, the most successful king of Israel, and probably the most famous king that was ever been in the history of Israel. And I want to relate that to everyone that's in this room. I believe God has orchestrated our steps, and you're where you're at because that's where God wants you to be. But he didn't give you that department head position. He didn't give you that corner office. He didn't give you that gold badge. He gave you a Goliath in a situation of difficult circumstances that molded your character, that made you better at what you're doing now than if he had just given you that position. It's that there's a verse in Jeremiah 29:11. It's my wife's life verse, so I have this very well memorized. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you. They are plans for good, not for evil." And this is the drop the mic moment. They're plans for good, not for evil, for a future and for a hope. And that's what we're all here for there, to make things better for those that are coming behind us. Well, let me pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful to be able to assemble like this. We're just thankful for this opportunity to meet freely and just bring our petitions before you and before the people that govern this area. We're blessed to have the leaders we have here in place, and we just ask that you'll continue to orchestrate their steps, to continue to give them divine wisdom and divine insight, to be able to see people the way you see people. We're thankful for this country, this opportunity, the blessings you have given to us. We just pray for the men and women that are on the job today, that you'll be with them as they go about their tasks and give them wisdom and discernment. And be with the men and women of our armed forces. Keep them out of harm's way. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Spence. Fire Chief, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Mr. Payne, good morning, sir. We are properly noticed and have a quorum.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any public comments?
We have one speaker card for the public comment.
Okay.
Chair Jonathan Cox.
All right, Mr. Cox. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Well, good morning, board members, distinguished guests. I could speak passionately and at length about this topic, but I'm going to read from a prepared statement just so I can address everything that I need to. My name is Jonathan Cox, and I have served in the Marine Corps from 2000 to 2009, 2 combat tours, one in 03 and one in 05. I was assigned to the 4th Assault Amphibian Battalion and deployed as part of the 1st Marine Division, Mechanized Amphibious Task Logistics Operations Command, and then again in 2005 as part of Regimental Combat Team 2, Assault Amphibian Battalion, Alpha Platoon, Alpha Company 2nd Platoon. During my time in the Marine Corps, I held billets including section leader, training non-commissioned officer, and platoon sergeant. And I was awarded multiple commendations for my superior performance in both operational and leadership roles. Since separating from the military, I've committed my time to public service with my first 9 years in the fire service at Seminole County. I've now been with the district for 9 years, 6 of which on the special operations team. For recent promotional opportunities, I've done everything I can to prepare for them. I meet and exceed all the qualifications needed for it, including Fire Officer 1 and 2, Fire Safety Inspector, Instructor 3. As of yesterday, I completed my Incident Safety Officer to further my development within this department. In addition to that, I've also completed other advanced training in multiple technical rescue disciplines, including rope rescue, confined space, vehicle and machinery rescue, hazardous materials response, truck operations, surface water, SPRAT, which is the Society of Professional Rope Access Technicians, countless others. Despite these credentials in 2022, veterans preference was not offered to me during a promotional process. I only became aware of it during this current process. In 2024 and 2025, I was assessed as the top-ranked candidate, but I was still not selected for promotion. To me, this is a clear violation of Florida Statute 295 and the Florida Administrative Code 55 Alpha-7, both of which require that veterans receive preference in both public employment appointments as well as promotions. As of today, I've taken several steps to try and address this issue. I've met directly with Human Resources, the fire chief, the deputy chief, and as well as the district administrator, Stephanie. I've also spoken with my local representative, who stated to him this appeared to be discriminatory behavior towards veterans. In preliminary discussions with the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, I was told that my case appears to have merit. I also intend to bring this before the office of the governor, being that this is a department that he helped institute. While I do have formal avenues to pursue this complaint, I find it deeply discouraging, honestly, to be forced to fight for this right that I feel is both protected by law and earned through my honorable service. It's not about special treatment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cox, I'm sure you are aware public comment's not a dialogue with us, but I speak for everyone. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Do we have any other public speakers?
No, Chair.
Okay, all right, moving on to consent agenda, section 5. Consent agenda items are intended to be disposed of without discussion. Would any member like to pull anything off the consent agenda? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Section 6, reports. District Administrator Kapeloussis. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning, members. Just want to give a brief update and some things that have happened since we last met, but also some things coming up. I want to start with first, our district is unique, as we've all talked about. One of the things that happened a week ago was a fire in a walk-in cooler behind Epcot. And the reason I bring this up, it was not a big deal whatsoever, but because it occurred in this district and because it was visible, it was right below where the Skyliner goes over at Epcot, there was billows of smoke. It got a lot of attention, national attention. So I wanted to share with y'all that it was a walk-in cooler that was back behind the buildings at Epcot. Because of our building code, the buildings are not allowed, different structures have to be certain feet apart, and therefore nothing else was affected by this. Our team responded effectively and efficiently, took care of it very quickly, and And so I just share that with you, and that something that got a lot of news and media attention was really not a big deal whatsoever. But it was handled by our team very quickly. They responded quickly and took care of everything. So just wanted to share that with you since it did make. Please know if there is a large event that occurs here, you will hear directly from me on that. Also wanted to share the past couple weeks, we did recognition for our team. We did the promotion and recognition ceremony for the fire department, and it was great to have a lot of their families that attended to see them get promoted. So it was a great event. I thank the fire chief and his team who put it together. And then we did for our team at CFTOD, everyone who's hit the 5-year mark, we did a breakfast for all of them, and that was well received, and just grateful for the team that we have and the work they put in. Coming up this Saturday, we are doing some work with Relay for Life. Jennifer leads our team, is with the building and safety department, and we will be out at why am I drawing a blank? What's the name of the park? Maxwell Field, which is right behind our fire station, to help raise money for the American Cancer Society. So we will do that on Saturday. That is all I have, Chair.
Sorry. Did you all hear me? Do you need me to repeat that? All right. Anybody want to ask Ms. Kapelos any questions now that I'm on the record again? All right. Moving on to section 7.1. Do we have a motion to approve the award of a 3-year continuing services contract to 7 contractors for district-wide electrical, medium, and low voltage services?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Chief Ferraro, would you like to present this item? Oh, no, not Chief Ferraro. Chris Ferraro. Sorry, not Chief Ferraro. I know. I saw it. I saw the horror on your face. Like, why is she? I thought I was just doing the pledge today. I'm
I
sorry.
was so excited to have backup. Thank you so much.
Fire, Ferrari, Ferraro. It all sounds the same.
Very close.
I apologize.
Thank
Good
you.
morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman, Board of Supervisors, and District Leadership. So just a little bit of detail. Are you going to? Oh, pardon me. Sorry. So a little bit of expanded detail on the award of continuing service contracts for the Utility Division Electrical Services. So great partnership with the district's procurement service. We issued a request for specialized electrical contractors for a variety of electrical services in medium and high voltage, so 480 volts to 69,000 volt electrical work. We received 7 responses. They were scored and discussed in a public meeting in March of 2025. They were scored, and we are asking the board to award continuing services contracts to the 7 firms listed that scored a 90 out of 100 in that selection committee process. Also happy to note that there are several local firms that were included in this award recommendation. So a little bit of additional detail, the work to these contractors will be awarded through a task work order authorization with the specific project scope and cost for each item of work awarded. The intent would be to award to the qualified firm and to kind of spread the work equally among the 7 contracts that we're recommending for award today. The next slide are just some pictures of the infrastructure that would be availed for these contractors. We have in the pictures, moving from left to right and top to bottom, there's a pad-mounted transformer, the installation of conduit for an electrical duct bank, electrical switchgear on the far top right side, a control cabinet on the bottom left, and then a circuit breaker on the bottom right. That's all I have to report, Chair.
Sorry, is there an outside limit on the contract fiscally? I mean, is there a cap? I know it's task work order, so there's no specific dollar amount, but is there a cap on this? At which point you would come back to us to amend, to seek additional approval?
We'd be following the district's procurement process for any of the awards, but Tiffany, I don't want to put you on the spot, but can I defer to the district's chief contracting officer to help me answer that?
Construction contracts, so they would normally not have cap, it would be based on budget. So, but not project specific. So if electrical department
Maintenance, it's maintenance, right?
Exactly.
Right, so that, but you don't put a cap on that at some point? So how do we know?
There's a
if it's with the
certain
budget?
amount in our budget for repairs,
Okay,
and so it would not go over that.
but how do we know that? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Because we will not allow the task order to go forward
Mhm.
in our process. There are checks and balances, so the task order would not be allowed to go forward unless there's budget within the maintenance agreement to do it.
Okay, well, we're learning, but,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. Okay.
Madam Chair, and just to clarify, so my understanding is this is just the list of approved vendors, is that you can then select from? So this would be like we did the civil engineers at the last meeting or one of the prior meetings. These are the electrical engineers. Is that right?
These are construction firms for electrical contracting. That's
That
correct.
you that would be you would be allowed to choose to then come to us if you needed money, or if it was already in the budget, then you could use that money. Essentially, right?
That's correct. So we've determined that they are qualified, and we have a rate sheet established with them for scopes of work that we would approach them for on a task order basis that would either be approved through the budget or come to the board at that requisite approval amount.
There's still anything under that's approved for us to sign off on
Right,
would come before the board.
thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, seeing none, motion passes. Thank you. And you're not the chief. Sorry. You're very lucky. Okay, moving on to 7.2, which is a motion. Do we have a motion to approve an award of a 3-year contract for vehicle tire repair and maintenance services to Snyder Tire Inc. with an approximate expenditure of 1.5?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Who is presenting this one? Again, Ms. Farr.
Thank you, Chairman. A little bit of background on this award and recommendation to the board from the utility division. So this is also the result of the procurement process with the district's procurement team. A request for proposal was submitted for mechanics specializing in repair and maintenance of vehicle tires and tire stems for the district's solid waste utility fleet. So the required scope of work in addition to tires and tire stems is also roadside assistance, disposal of those tires, and a technician on site daily to respond to any required replacements or repairs. And the photo here is an example of one of 35 solid waste trucks that are in the district's solid waste fleet. The proposal went out to the public in December 2024. 2 bids were received and they were evaluated in a formal selection committee public meeting in February of 2025. At this time, the utility division is recommending award of contract C006740 with Snyder Tire Inc. They are a firm in South Carolina. We did not receive any local bids on this scope of work. We're looking for the contract period for April 1, 2025 through April 1, 2028. The annual amount is approximately $500,000 for a contract total over a 3-year time of $1,420,047. This is covered annually in the routine operating expense of the solid waste utility and will be approved by the board annually through the utility budget.
Any questions? None? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. All right, item 7.3, we have a motion, do we have a motion to approve a change order number 7 to contract 50C005704 with Reedy Creek Energy Services for additional engineering and construction support services for Phase 2 of the World Drive North Phase 3 project in the amount of $1.2 million. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Sant, good morning, how are you, sir?
Good morning, Chairman Yarbrough, fellow members of the board, district administration. Here to seek the approval for change order number 7 for the Reedy Creek Energy Services contract C005704 for additional engineering and construction support services of the World Drive North Phase 2 of the World Drive North Phase 3 project, $1.2 million. So these services are for, they include submittal review, submittal review, utility infrastructure inspection, welding inspection, RFI review in support for utility work associated with Phase 2 of the Phase 3 project. Also, miscellaneous goods and ancillary professional services. So you're probably wondering, what is Phase 2 of the Phase 3 project? So I'm glad you're wondering that. So the exhibit real quick. that you see up there on the left side where it says begin project, that's basically the beginning of the phase 1 of the phase 3 project. It goes up to just past roundabout 2, which is the middle roundabout, just around the Grand Floridian area too. Phase 1 was all the utility infrastructure underneath the ground, and then some temporary chiller work in through there. Phase 2 of the phase 3 is everything else, the utilities to the north of that roundabout all the way to the end of the project, and all the roadway drainage and the roadway, finishing the roadway. So basically back in February 2003, the original request was put in and approved. Phase 2 was initiated back in November 2024 and approved by the board. That authorization previously was $1.9 million. This $1.2 million request should finish us with the project, the World Drive North Phase 3, and there'll be no change to the overall budget of the World Drive North Phase 3 project.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stant. Any questions, discussion? No? Okay, all right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Stant.
Thank you.
We are on to item 7.4. Do we have a motion to approve authorizing the district administrator to negotiate the terms of and execute an agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation to provide $500,000 in district support for the Sunshine Corridor PD&E study?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Section 8, public hearing. Item 8.1, we have a resolution number 671 adopting and enacting a new Epcot compilation of codes 2024 edition. The first item, Mr. Payne, would you please read this for us?
Yes, Chair. It's resolution number 671, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District adopting and enacting a new Epcot compilation of codes 2024 edition, which includes the accessibility code, the building code, the electrical code, the energy efficient code, the fuel gas code, the mechanical code, the plumbing code, the existing building code, the property maintenance code, and the residential code, providing for the repeal of the Epcot compilation of codes 2018 edition, providing for codification, Scrivener's errors, severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 671? So what is 671?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Oh, we can't discuss yet. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none.
I don't think we have
Okay.
any
Discussion?
speaker cards.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. We are now on to, Mr. Rodriguez might have wanted to say something, sorry. I'll be honest, I'm new with the resolution process, so,
Can I
Yeah,
just make
sorry.
a comment? No, they've been working on updating the Epcot code since 2018.
it's a big deal. Would you like to tell us about it, even though we voted
A
on
lot,
it?
a
We'd like to
lot's
hear about it.
happened.
It's my fault. I apologize.
A lot's happened in that timeline, and they have worked diligently to make sure that's
Yeah,
updated.
I
So
would like to hear about it. Go ahead. I know we voted, but go ahead. I actually talked to Mr. Payne before because I've not done a resolution, presiding over a resolution process. So I knew I was going to mess it up. I spoke with Mr. Payne and I still messed it up. So I apologize, sir. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair and Supervisors. As Stephanie mentioned, we have been working on this quite a long time, since 2018, and a lot of things have happened since then. All building codes in the nation are all updated in intervals and usually keep the same base code. The first Epcot building code was published in 1970, and it was based off the 1967 South Florida Building Code. And as it was updated throughout the years, it was updated to incorporate current technologies and current code philosophies. Well, this is the first time we'll be changing the base code to the 2023 Florida 8th edition building code. So it's a big leap for us, and so we appreciate your consideration for this, and yeah, it's been a lot of work.
It has been a lot of work.
And his whole team has worked diligently to update it to make sure we're getting it right. I mean,
Yeah.
as you know, safety is the utmost importance for everyone here on this property. And they do a great job at that. But I just want to thank. It started before you became the building official, and you spearheaded it to completion. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Any questions for him, even though I know we voted? Questions?
Just want to say thank you. Great,
Yeah.
great job.
Really
Great job.
amazing. I know some of us are learning still here, but I know what I've heard thus far. It's so impressive the amount of work and effort that goes into our codes to make sure that all of our visitors are safe and our structures are safe and that we can maintain hurricane thresholds. It's really impressive. And I can only imagine. I've seen the volumes already. It's substantial. I know there's has to have been so many hours and labor of love put into that, and we're just really appreciative. So thank you very much. Anything else? No. Okay. All right. Moving on to item 8.2, another resolution. Try to get this one right, Mr. Payne. Item resolution number 672, modifying the district's high temperature hot water utility rate for the remainder of fiscal year 2025. Mr. Payne, would you please read resolution number 672?
Yes, ma'am. And this is resolution number 672, a resolution of the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District modifying the district's high temperature hot water utility rate for the remainder of fiscal year 2025 and providing for severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve resolution 672?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any comments from the public? All right, seeing none, Ms. Ferraro, would you please tell us about resolution 672, ma'am?
Yes, just kind of talk you through this. This is one of the district's utilities, the high temperature hot water system. This is in the north part of the district's utility system and is in our central energy plant. So the rate for high temperature hot water was set by the board in September of 2024, and it was set based on a utility cost base for this utility for fiscal 25 of $4 million. When we build the rate structure, we look at how much we're going to sell and the expenses, and we decide what that rate will be, and that's what the board have approved. However, in November of 2024, we replaced the primary meter at the district's central energy plant, the district's meter measuring volumes of hot water, and we found that that meter had in fact been slowing down for some period of time, and now we're getting much higher volumes being recognized through the metering system. So much so that if we continue to collect at the current rate, we'll be over collected by almost 60% at the end of the year, realizing a revenue over $6 million against a $4 million cost base. So based on that need, we'd like to recommend a rate reduction. And it is significant because of the math associated with this. We're halfway through the year already, and we sell a lot of hot water in the winter. So the original rate set by the board was just over $53 per MMBTU, a million British thermal units. And we're recommending a reduction for the rest of fiscal 25 to $14.09. Do want to assure the board that the district has always been made whole correctly for the expenses of this utility. Even if that meter was not accurate, we were still forecasting sales and we were adjusting rates accordingly. So the rates were probably a little bit higher as that meter was slowing down. Also, we do have a large meter replacement program planned for the utility division for all of the district's utilities to ensure that we have correct and accurate meeting. So do want to make sure that this will not be happening again. So this is just the math associated with the budget request. We have volumes that we're forecasting now with our new metering equipment of over 116,000 metric BTUs per year, and that's the $6.3 million in revenue that we previously discussed. When you math that through and you say we want to just land at $4 million, we reduce the rate to $14 for the remainder of this year to cover that. So we had originally forecast about 74,000 MMBTUs, and we're already at 58,000. So we've already realized about 80% of the volume in a half year that we expected for the full year. That's why the rate reduction is so low. This rate will rebound next year as we build. We do a base up build every year on utility expenses and expect it to moderate kind of somewhere in the middle, right between that $53 we were at and the $14 that we're at now. So when we get into the budget, you will see a significant increase this year. The graph shown on the top right is a typical chart that we use to talk about rates year over year. that will become familiar in the budget conversations that we'll have. This just shows where we started 25 and the mid-year adjustment. And there's a picture on the bottom right of just what the meter looks like. It's just a volumetric meter with a display, and the display finally failed. And that's why we became urgent to change it. And that's the end of my report on the hot water rate.
Thank you. Any questions? Discussion? All right, seeing none. Is there a motion? We have the motion. We're voting. Aye. All in favor, aye. Obviously, I have a mental block on resolutions. Mr. Payne's gonna give me a tutorial later. Thank you, Ms. Ferraro. All right, we are through the end of our agenda. It looks like, do we have any new business? Any member want to discuss anything? Ms. Kapelousis, nothing? All right, seeing none, we'll stand adjourned. The time is 11 a.m. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Till I get the resolution.